Let's take a look at graphing lines. Specifically, let's graph the line y equals negative 3x plus 4. Right now in our study, the way that we've been graphing lines is by getting a table of values, that is, picking points that correspond to this equation. So let's set up a table of values. That is, we're going to pick some x values and then find the corresponding y values that go to it. Once we get those ordered pairs, then we can plot those and then graph our line. So let's pick a couple values. I usually choose negative values and positive values, so I'm going to choose negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2, and we'll start there. Now our formula is y equals negative 3x plus 4, so let's go through these steps very carefully. In the first coordinate, when we have x being negative 2, we want to find the corresponding y. That is, we are going to set x to be negative 2, so we will have negative 3 times negative 2 plus 4. Let's work out this value, this number. Negative 3 times negative 2 gives us a positive number. Multiplication must be done before we do addition and subtraction, and so negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. And positive 6 plus 4 gives us 10. That means when x is negative 2, y is 10. Let's take a look at the next value. When x is negative 1, that means y is negative 3 times negative 1 plus 4. Again, we do the multiplication before we do the addition and subtraction, so we're going to multiply negative 3 times negative 1. Negative times a negative is a positive, so negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3, and positive 3 plus 4 is just 7. So that means when x is negative 1, y is 7. All right, let's get the next guy. This time x is 0. So we have y equals negative 3 times 0 plus 4. Negative 3 times 0 is simply 0. So negative 3 times 0 is simply 0. So we have 0 plus 4, and 0 plus 4 is just 4. So when x is 0, y is 4, and we'll do 2 more points. Really, you only need 2 points to graph a line. I always plot at least 3. That way, if I've made an error, I'll be able to tell right away if those 3 points don't line up. However, I'm just going through and practicing some extra values here, so I've picked 5 points. Again, you can pick 2 or 3 points. I strongly recommend no less than 3 to graph your line. All right, so now let's let x be 1. Again, we multiply first, so I have negative 3 times a positive 1, and a negative times a positive is a negative, so that's negative 3 plus 4. And now this is the same thing. Negative 3 plus 4 is the same thing as 4 minus 3. That's equal to positive 1. So 1 maps to 1. And we have one more y value to worry about. Y equals negative 3 times, when x is 2, plus 4. We start by taking negative 3 times 2. A negative times a positive is a negative. So that's negative 6 plus 4. When we have 2 values that are different signs, a negative and a positive, we subtract the values. So 6 minus 4 is 2, and we take the sign of the larger number. So that means when x is 2, y is negative 2. Awesome, so now we have 5 points, and we can graph our line. I'll start by plotting something that's actually on my coordinate plane. Notice negative 2, 10, that doesn't fall on my coordinate plane. Negative 1, 7 is a little off the plane as well. So let's start right here at 0, 4. 0, comma 4 is the first point on this line that I can plot. The second one, let's plot, is 1, comma 1. 1 for x, 1 for y. The third one is 2 comma negative 2. And 3 points should be enough to make a straight line. And so now we go ahead and we graph a straight line through these points. So the line that passes through these 3 points looks like so. Should be straighter. I'm a little wiggly, but you get the drift, right? So this is the line y equals negative 3x plus 4. And every point on that line will satisfy this equation.